Hello. Hello, it's the rare morning Binka. I'm not talking about 11 a.m. morning Binka, I'm talking about 7:55 a.m. morning Binka. Good morning, I'm so EP. Good morning, and I'm like stuffed up. I'm not sick, this is just the usual, like, I just woke up. I might sneeze a couple of times. Because it's starting to get colder. Hello? Already? Oh my god, the ad break's already starting? Okay, I'll see you guys after the break. Okay, are folks back from the ad break? Hello, hello. Oh my gosh, you guys, there's so many people already. There's already so many people. Hello. Good morning, everybody. It's cold. I'm like, it's a little chilly. I have like a little sweater and a blankie right now. Hello, everybody. Hello, good. Oh, it's evening for you. Nice. Hello, Midori. Okay, let's head to the classroom. Let's head to the classroom and make sure my outfit's ready, and then we'll get ready for the raid train. But hello, good morning, everyone. Oh my god, when River raids in, I'm gonna like try and do like a Filipino greeting, but there's no guarantee. I might just forget. But before that, let's say hello, everybody. I'm Babinka Bear, your local sun bear and art history teacher. And today we're gonna be doing some learning. We're gonna be doing some edumacating. But yeah, I'm excited to go over this topic. I've gone over it before, but this one is gonna be a little expanded. I'm hoping we can fit everything in the 2 hours before I have to raid out. But yeah, hello. Let's do our hellos. So Matthew, hello. You said right before the stream started. Hello, Owen. Hello, Huxley. Hello, May Shark. Hello, Midori. Sorry, burp. I just drink a lot of water. How you guys doing? It's morning Binka. Yeah, the fil-am train. It's coming. It's currently at River right now. I was just in her stream. She's drawing a really cute like Filipino dessert called halo halo, but it's like spooky themed, so she called it Halo Halloween, and it's so cute. It's super cute. But yeah, fil-am raid train. Good morning. I'm gonna be passing by because it's my sleeping time. Yeah, good night, Midori. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you. Here for my shift at the film. yeah. This is definitely earlier than what I'm used to. Oh yeah, get your stickers, everybody. When you wake up with Bink instead of going to bed is a vibe. Yeah. I know. I'm also not used to this stream time because I've definitely gotten up around like 6 o'clock to like go for walks with Beans and stuff. But because it's the weekend, because it's a Sunday, and this is usually the day that I sleep in, it kind of hits different. I I woke up like, where am I? Where's with that like one meme picture of the guy waking up and you could tell he's just like, where am I? What year is it? Where's my wife? Me and Bean say that all the time from like Rick and Morty when like Morty wakes up from like I think a simulation where he had like a whole life already, right? And he like wakes up and he's like, where's my wife? Who are you? Where's my horse? Yeah. That's like how it feels sometimes when you like wake up from like a nap that was only supposed to be 45 minutes and you wake up like 2 hours later or more. Like you wake up the next day. Hello, Dia. Thank you for the 11 months. Hello. Welcome, welcome. Good morning. At least it's morning for me. How's everybody doing? I actually have a different kind of music I'm gonna be playing today. I'm amazed that I haven't played her before, but she's actually one of my favorite artists. She's one of my favorite like Filipino American artists. She's a rapper. Her name is Ruby Ibarra. Oh my god. Even in my default outfit, you guys know my like my windbreaker, the black like coat that I wear. That's actually inspired by a windbreaker I wear IRL that is from one of her concerts. Like that's how much I love her. So we're gonna be listening to her today. Should I just play it right now? I'll play it right now. She actually came out with new music lately. I actually haven't listened to it because I'm a fake fan, you see. But I've also just been a teensy bit out of the loop. But today we're gonna go into stuff like that. Let's see. Same as TNG episode where Picard lives a whole life and learns how to play a flute. I really got to get back into. Well, I say get back into, but I only watched like 2 episodes of The Next Generation. I really do want to. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna wait for this song to play because I remember the initial like monologue. It's not really a monologue. There's like a little skit in the beginning of the song that like speaks to me. It like speaks to me. Yeah, it's you thought you were hearing things. Yeah, it's a. I was playing music. I was playing Ruby Ibarra's first one. There's like a little skit. Is my blue sky playing a random video with voices? You know, I heard like something spooky. And I think it happened to Casper Cattuccini. It was like, uh, but before it happened to Casper, it happened to like another streamer. But I lost the tweet. But it was they're saying they kept on hearing random voices even when they weren't like live or when there weren't any windows that were supposed to be playing sound. And like normally that'd just be like, oh, spooky season, but she was like, what if I got hacked? That's like the modern spooky. It's like, what if I got hacked and someone's like watching me and like the feedback is coming through the mic. So, and then I think like Casper Cattuccini said that like something similar happened to him, or he kept on like hearing like weird sounds. I think Chad was also hearing it, but he wasn't. So, but I don't know. I don't know if that's even how hacking works. That happens to me a lot when I close out Firefox, but sometimes the media sticks around in the background and I just need to Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, so the beginning of this song, I'm gonna play it after the raid train. It does have like a little skit, and it's one of those like the Filipino American experience. You'll find out. You'll find out. But yeah, I'm just like stretching. I'm getting myself nice and ready. Cause yeah, I'm hoping I'm able to like get through this in 2 hours. Cause I was like, I have, like I said, I did this topic before. It was a couple months back though. I even recycle some of the same slides from that one. So for those who are like long time viewers, you might recognize some of the topics. But I do okay, the last time I did this topic, it was just about the dances, right? This time it's kind of like the dances, but in the context of like being a Filipino American. And there's a lot of folks in my audience that aren't fil-am, and like I want to try and make this as like accessible and like as clear, even if you didn't grow up with that background, right? Because but I also didn't. I also didn't grow up with that background. But now I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it. There's like this whole thing of like, I guess a lot of fil-am say that like I didn't really grow up with the culture, but I'm like, arguably you did. It's just like more extensive parts of the culture that like we didn't grow up learning about. But I was like thinking about it in like if I was like Chinese American or like Mexican American, like would would it be the same? I'll get into it. I was there when you showed the dances. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was actually, when was it? I'm trying to remember. I want to say it was oh, hello. Hello, hello, River. Choo choo. Choo 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 choo. Hello, everybody. The KABABAYAN Raid Train. Welcome, welcome. River, I had to step out like 5 minutes before, but I was there for the the Halloween. And wait, you said something that was like, oh, when you were like at the party and like you were famous. You are famous. But a soundbite played and I was like, oh, I love that. It's the soundbite where it's like, it's a bear. It's a bear. But hello, everyone. Thank you, River, for the raid. Get some rest. I know, just like me, you're also EP, right? Like, get some rest. Oh, I know you have to go to some parties, huh? Get some rest when you can, though. I totally get it. September through October is like birthday season for me. So it's like, not necessarily a lot of parties, but it's a lot of like, okay, time to get some foodums for the fam bam. But hello, River. The KABABAYAN Raid Train has reached its next destination, Babinka Bear Station. Whoa! Hello, Justin for a drive. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Magician Tronic. Welcome, welcome. What's up, Babinka? Yeah, hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. You good? Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, I want to hear this. Yeah, I might ping you, maybe after tomorrow though, or after today because I know you're EP and you're gotta catch up on the eeps. But great art. The art was so good. The Halloween Filipino party season. A big chocolate big. Oh yeah. So we have a oh, thank you for the gifted sub to Hux, Dia. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, so if you guys would like to, if you look at the bottom of the screen. Oh, wait. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's do introduction. So, hello everyone. Hello. I'm Babinka Bear, your local sun bear and art history teacher and educational streamer. So, yeah, we're going to be doing a bit of learning today. We're going to be, well, learning for some people it might be like review or it might be something that like you were already a part of, right? So, wait, did I tweet out that I'm live? I think I did. Is it true that blue sky tweets are called skeets? Because I don't know if I accept that. I saw a post calling it a skeet, and I'm like, I don't know if I like that. No one calls them that. I saw at least 2 posts that said it, and I'm like, there's no way. There's no freaking way. Oh, hello. Who just joined the class? Hello, Potato Bun Stew. Welcome, welcome to class. They came up with that 2 years ago and nobody liked it. I also don't like it. That's funny. It's like you know what? No, we're gonna be PG-13 today. We're gonna be PG-13. But thank you also, Dia, for gifting River a sub. Thank you. I retweeted. Cool. But yeah, so I'm Babinka Bear. We're gonna be learning today, and oh, Dia, thank you for gifting to Owen too. Thank you. I appreciate it. We're gonna be learning. We're gonna be talking about folk dance, but in the context of Filipino Americans because it is Filipino American History Month, and this whole KABABAYAN Raid Train is for fil-am VTubers because it's Filipino American History Month. So, actually, before I play a little bit of Ruby Bar, let's just get some background music out of the way. We'll do the usual vaporwave, and then we'll jump into Ruby. Let me know if the sound is okay. If it's like too loud, too soft. I lowered it just now. But yeah, so we're gonna be learning about that stuff. Oh yeah, so the last thing I'll say before we like get started is let me lower it just a little bit more. The last thing I'll say before we get started is if you guys look to the bottom of the screen, there's little bear-shaped cubs there, some little bear-shaped treats. Those are the Babing cubs. Those are your avatars, chat. That's you. You're on the telly. You're on the Jabberwockies. No way. Ain't no way. So, oh yeah, so 2 things. There's the Babing cubs and then there's your Sniffa stickers. I have a 1-point redeem where it's like a daily check-in, you know, or whenever I stream you can check in. It's a 1-point redeem, and when you redeem it you get yourself a little sticker, and they're all based off Filipino treats. So yeah, I see you guys getting it right now. We're on the telly. You guys are on the telly. It's you. It's you. Sniffer. And as for the bebenkubs, you can actually customize how yours looks. There's a bunch of chat commands that you can access by doing bebenkubs, exclamation point bebenkubs. And if you want to see your options, you can either type out avatar. There you go. You can either be a bebatter or a bebenkub. Sniffer. Or you can look up the colors that you can do. You can do like random or chocolate or coconut or mocha, pandan or ube. And then you can also have some toppings. So you could also have random cheese, choco drizzle, egg, flan, and whiskers. And to change your avatar, you just need to type like toppings egg, right? Or color ube. But there's also, if you scroll down in my bio, there's a little panel called stream avatars. I think you can also just customize that way. So yeah. Lots of options today. Yeah, toppings. There you go. You're adding the toppings on yourself. But yeah, while you guys enjoy that, I'm going to go ahead and just hop on into the presentation. Because like I said, I have the propensity to yap. I yap a lot. Oh no, I'm sorry, Hux. I don't know if it works with European spelling. You might have to remove the U. like a filthy bear American. Yeah, if it does work, cool. If it doesn't, I apologize. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just hop right into things. Cause yeah, we're gonna be learning about fil-am, stage productions, and folk dance. I actually didn't know what to title this because I wanted to center on something called Filipino Cultural Night. But like, not everyone is gonna know that, right? Not everyone is gonna know what it is because I'm introducing it. So I was like, what do I title this in like a nice catchy way? I ended up on Binka Teaches fil-am stage productions and folk dance, which is a bit of a mouthful, but to yap is to be Filipino for real. I was looking in on like a couple other of the fil-am VTubers that were part of the train. Man, everyone is so like diversely talented. Like everyone was doing different things. I told this to Matthew, but out of I think like the 6 VTubers I like was able to watch, like 4 or 5 of them incorporated singing somehow, either accidentally or intentionally. And I'm like, Sasuga Filipino. And I'm like, am I gonna have to incorporate singing? I already do. I already do the thing where it's like, I love this song. Start singing. So, like the title, it's like a community college course you would see in the adult education booklet you get in the mail. Oh my gosh. I'm glad. I am a huge stan. If the kids are still saying that, I'm a huge stan for community college. Hello, Twisties Kidnapped. Hello, welcome. To be Filipino is to sing. It's true. Hello, Amerly Fevantage. Hello, my favorite person that uses emotes, and lots of them. But yeah, let's jump in. I said I was gonna jump in, and then I didn't. So yeah, this is gonna be about like the fil-am experience and like my fil-am experience and dance and stage productions and stuff. But of course, I gotta do the disclaimer. I gotta make sure that people aren't like, actually you're wrong. Oh, you know what? I also have to let me move my table so you guys can see the full outfit that I'm wearing, my full getup. And I gotta put the music elsewhere. Maybe like up here. There you go. Actually, I love this song. Now this bullshit's blazing. So true. But yeah, so here's a little bit of a disclaimer. So this presentation is informed by my experience as a second generation SoCal based fil-am, Filipino American. I'm gonna go over into what the generations mean, by the way. I'll go into it. But yeah, the reason why I say this is because my experience is gonna be different from other people's experience. Like, if you're like a generation 1 or generation 1.5, it's gonna be different. If you're not in SoCal, it's gonna be different. Even if you're in SoCal and you like also had a similar experience where you like joined a bunch of like Filipino college orgs, it's gonna be different because each org is different too. So like it's gonna vary wildly, just like with any other culture, right? So some of the stuff I'm gonna say here, it's gonna sound like I'm saying that everybody does it, but it's not everybody. It's just from like my experience, but also like experiences that were shared with me as well. So So with that said, though, feel free to share your own experiences and your own thoughts, even if you're not fil-am. You know, even if this is your first time being exposed to like some of the ideas I'm talking about, feel free to drop it in the chat and be like, "Oh, this is cool," or like, "Oh, this is interesting." But just keep things respectful as always. Not that anyone's ever been disrespectful, but I wanna cover my bases. You know, I wanna cover my bases so that no, you guys are hitting me with the actually no, I'm in shambles. I'm in shambles. East Coast Filipino Bear American. Yeah, exactly. I'm so curious about that experience, you know? Hello there, fellow youngsters.
Ooh, I
Just love sulfuric acid. It is what I love. I'm too white, I'm gonna shut up and listen. So real, Owen. Well, thank you, thank you. If there's anything that you like have questions about though, I'm always happy to answer. I love yapping about this stuff. Hello, Ghosty. Hello, welcome, welcome. I do want to know about the candles. Oh yeah, so like my my outfit is based off one of my favorite fil-am, or not fil-am, my favorite Filipino folk dances. It's called Pandango sa Ilaw. I'm gonna go into a little bit more detail later on, but I'll also show you a video. My outfit is even based off like the outfit that I wore when I danced this IRL. So yeah. I guess another disclaimer is that like I might miss some messages in the chat, but so far you guys have been super respectful about it. So thank you. But all right, let's go on. Just like a teacher, I have to put the agenda, right? I have to put the agenda. I need to set expectations for everybody. So this is the agenda. These are some of the topics we're gonna cover. So I'm gonna talk about like who is considered fil-am. What are the different like generations? You know, because I describe myself as second generation, but what does that mean, right? Is that like Hololive Gen 2, you know? Yeah, we'll go into it. And then I'll also do a short section on like what does it mean to connect to Filipino culture, because that's been like a huge thing with Filipino Americans, is like how connected we feel to the culture. Um and yeah, I kind of have like an argument for that, not like a combative one, not like a actually you're all wrong, but it's like it's a proposal. Really, it's more of like a think about this, Yaku presents Generation 3. That's right, it's Gen 3. It's the it's the people born to Gen 2. History of Filipinos in Burgerland. We first crash landed in 1587. That's true. I thought it was the 1700s, but no, you're right. It is 1587, because it's before like the land was even called like America, right? It was when it was still native land, still like Tongva. Well, I actually don't know if that land would be Tongva, or if it would be another group, but yeah, like we were here because of like the galleon trade and stuff like that. So yeah, Filipinos have been on this land, on Turtle Island, for a long time. So I unfortunately don't have enough time to go into all of the history behind that, but there's a lot of it. The picture that I have here, by the way, is from a mural in a historic Filipino town here in SoCal, in South Bear, South California. Um, it features people from the 1965 Delano grape strike, where they were protesting for like better working conditions, better wages, alongside Cesar Chavez. But we also had kind of like our Filipino equivalents. We had Larry Itliong and oh my god, what was his name? Like, I like had to memorize this when I was like in like the organizations. I'm gonna look it up. I'm sorry. I can't be. I have to be respectful to the manongs, to the uncles, to the elders. Oh my god, what was his name? I remember the other way was Philip Veracruz. There we go. It was Philip Veracruz. Yeah. So we have Larry Itliong, Philip Veracruz, and then they work together with Dolores Huerta. I don't know if this is supposed. I don't know. I don't think that's supposed to be her, but there's Dolores Huerta, and then there's also Cesar Chavez. So that was during like the grape strike. So yeah, as you can see, I know a little bit of the history. Yeah, South California. But then the main meat of today's presentation is something called Filipino Cultural Night, which is very close to my heart. It's like a stage production with dances and a script, but we're also going to bring up some of the critiques, which I've mentioned before on previous streams. But we'll get into it, and then we're gonna end off with I don't know if we'll actually do a Isang Bagsak, but it's basically just like a thing that Filipino orgs do to kind of close out their events. But since I'm also not the last I'm also not the last VTuber in the raid train. I don't know if I should Isang Bagsak, but it's like a little clapping thing that we do. It's really cute. But that's just gonna be like my conclusion. In conclusion, therefore, verily. But yeah, okay. So, fil-am, what does that mean? Hugs, you haven't been eaten yet. No, get behind me. Get behind Mr. Pancakes. Quickly. Alright, so Filipino American. I keep throwing around this word Filipino American or fil-am. That's the usual way to like shorten it, right? Hello, Peck School. No, you're not late. We just got started. You're still kicking around. Exactly. Mr. Pancakes, come back. Wait, what do I have? Here we go. Oh, but he doesn't have the desk to hide behind, so he kind of just fades out of existence. Look, he's gone. Like, where did he go? How did he do that? He's a magician. And back he goes. Yeah, we just started. So, what is like the Homer meme? Yeah. What is a Filipino American? So like straightforwardly, it's someone who's both Filipino and American, right? But then it gets to some confusion of like, oh, does that mean they're biracial or they're multiracial, where it's like they're like both like parents from the Philippines and America? It could mean that, but it can also mean someone who immigrated from the Philippines to the US. So there is like different types of generations, as I put here. So first generation is those that did do that. They immigrated from the Philippines to the US. However, some of them don't always identify as fil-am. Some of them do just like decidedly call themselves like, yeah, I'm Filipino. And like fil-am is like the next generation. And there's also a couple of waves of immigration. So like when a whole bunch of chunks of Filipinos would that I shouldn't have worded it like that. like a whole bunch of Filipinos at one time would like immigrate over here. So there was one wave in like 1906. Chunks of people, I know, not during spooky season. Not when mouthwashing is like, you know, the biggest like horror game. I know, Chunks. No. Mr. Pancakes is made of magic. He is. So one of the waves was in the early 1900s. These were the pensionados, who were like at this time the Philippines was an American possession, basically, like a colony essentially, because we were man, I wish I could go more into this history, but it's kind of messed up. We were kind of the spoils of war. After the Philippine-American War. It was, okay, so the quick and dirty of it is the Philippines fought for independence against Spain, and they actually won it. But afterwards, America kind of swooped in under the guise of like, oh yeah, we're helping the Filipinos get freedom from Spain, from nasty old Spain. And they turn around and they're like, actually, I don't think Filipinos can rule themselves, so we're gonna rule them. It's for their own good, really, because come on, look at them. Like, that was if you see like the primary sources of the president at the time saying that, it essentially like builds up to that. He essentially said like, oh, come on, look at them, they can't rule themselves, we gotta rule them because we're civilized, and blah blah blah. So yeah, it's kind of messed up that happened. But because of that, the first wave was like oh hey, you Filipinos can come to America for an education. So that was like the first wave. And then after 1965, they loosened up some of the restrictions around immigration, and the idea of like nationalism. And by this point, the Philippines became independent. It was after World War II. So after that, we had another big boom of like Filipinos coming over. My parents personally came over during the 80s. I think the late 80s, because I was born in 1990. So yeah. That's the first generation kind of in a nutshell. So second generation and beyond, because there's also like third, fourth, fifth generation, would be the children or descendants of this generation. So I'm second generation. My parents were the ones who immigrated here. But if it was like my grandparents, then I would be third generation. If it was my great grandparents, then I would be, you know, like fourth, fifth generation. So you might have Filipinos who their ancestors hello Saku, hello. Their ancestors like came in during the 1900s, during that first wave, right? And they might be like, you know, fourth, fifth, sixth generation Filipino. So, but I'm second gen. So, yeah, hello Saku, hello. And then there's also another term that you sometimes see, which is Generation 1.5. I don't know if other groups use this term, but it's basically it's folks that immigrate from the Philippines to the U.S. like this generation, but it's when they're a kid, when they're a kid or they're like a teen. And interestingly, I've seen a lot of people in this raid train. I think Icy Boy Wave and who did I like watch last night? I had a lot of fun because he was looking at his old PCN videos, but like both of them were born in the Philippines, but they came in when they were either like a kid or a teenager, and there is a little bit of distinction between like generation 1 and 1.5 because you essentially live your formative years either half and half. Eek! Oh, I think that might have been a test run. I think Matthew, where you like playing around with the queue of redeems. I was like, it was a giant bear. It was coming right at me. A bear, you know. Yeah, clearing up the queue. Eek. But yeah, so there's often like a distinction between these two because there is a difference between like being an adult, spending your formative years in the Philippines and coming here, versus like spending it like half and half, like you're half in the Philippines and you're half here. So this is the first time I hear about 1.5, but it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. There was a paper for Filipinos specifically. There was a paper by someone named Tracy Buenavista who like talked about like generation 1.5. What was that? That was my throwing system. But sometimes when we need to clear the queue, sometimes it randomly activates. I could actually wait. Is this the button? There you go. And look, I have sound. Ah! Why? That wasn't clearing the queue. You just threw those. Oh, you were demonstrating the peg school. There we go. Oh, thank you for the pet. But yeah, so those are some of the different generations of Filipino American, but sometimes that term can be pretty I got rotated. Very lucky that the candles didn't fall out. You seem to be frozen. Let's see if this works. Oh, if people are sometimes people sit. Sometimes the bibinkams like to just sit. Aw. We're giving each other a hug. Yeah, it's okay. Thank you, Peck School. Thank you. Alright, so. No, don't fart. Don't fart, no. Stinky. Uh-oh, stinky. But yeah, so with that being said, a lot of what I'm going to talk about from here on out is more so about like the generation 1.5 or second generation, and beyond. So like the people who didn't grow up like that much with like the Filipino culture, or okay, this is what I'm going to argue. So a common thing among like Filipino Americans, especially generation 2 and beyond, is a lot of them say that sorry, I'm like adjusting my seat if it sounds like I'm like bobbing up and down. A common thing is for them to say that they didn't really grow up learning a lot of the history and culture of the Philippines. And it's a lot of them say like it's usually like in college that they learn about this stuff because it's when they're able to either research it on their own or join clubs and learn more about them. But I kind of want to argue that like in some way, one way or another, fil-am families typically teach their kids the culture. They do, but it's just kind of different aspects of it. And I say typically because, you know, you never know what folks' family lives are like. You never know what folks' families are like. There we go. I gotta slow it down. Cause yeah, Bibinka spotted. This is what I look like IRL. No, I'm kidding. This is the food that I'm based off, that my name is based off. This is Bibinka rice cake. This is what it looks like. But yeah, like for me, I didn't grow up learning about like Filipino history, right? I didn't grow up learning about like certain aspects of the culture, like the mythology and the dances and stuff like that. I actually didn't even grow up speaking the language, really. I just grew up like hearing it. But I would argue that like that still counts as learning the culture. Is like learning about the food, hearing the language. I definitely grew up hearing the language to the point where like I can understand like a good amount. um yeah, eating the food is kind of a big one. Like no matter how little your family might teach you about the culture, you're probably going to be eating the food unless the family is like super Americanized, right? I think that's what I was trying to say here, is that like typically they teach some aspect of the culture. um Unfortunately though, I think what a lot of what happens though is a lot of people will kind of attribute it to like quote unquote colonial mentality, which is like this idea, and it is a thing that exists. When I say quote unquote, I don't mean to be sarcastic and be like, colonial mentality, as if that's a thing that exists. It does exist. It totally is. But it's this mentality that anything that is Western, specifically American, is good. Like that idea. But not in retrospect, in contrast, anything that is Filipino, anything that is Filipino or non-Western is bad. That is essentially colonial mentality. And yeah, exactly as Dia said, because this isn't something limited to the Philippines. It's any place that's been colonized, or even just like the world at large, because of the influence of like the West. Is this idea that like you have to be westernized, and in the case of a lot of fil-ams, you have to be Americanized. You can't be having like an accent. People will look down on you. Another big thing is colorism in the Filipino community. You know what? This is a good time to play Ruby Ibarra's first song in her album. So I mentioned it before, but like Ruby Ibarra is one of my favorite Filipino American artists. She's a rapper. I'm gonna play like the first song in her album, because she touches on this colorism that like I've heard a lot of when I was growing up. I'll even put up the volume. Yeah, I just want you guys to listen to that first intro skit. I'm gonna put the volume up. All right, so I just wanted to like have you guys hear that like first part where the mom character is saying that like like get out of there, you're gonna get dark and you'll be ugly if you're dark. That's something that is super common to like a lot of Filipino Americans. Well, not even just Filipino Americans, like all over the world, right? All over the world, regardless of culture. It's a lot of like, oh yeah, dark skin is ugly. Yeah, the pressure to use whitening products is real. Exactly. In one of the plays that I'm going to be talking about, I played an extra where I was an auntie, I was a tita, who like I was telling the main character like, "Oh, you're so dark. You have to use this papaya soap and you'll get lighter. You'll look nice, So very real, very real. Um and that also like manifests itself in this, and that's why sometimes Filipino families might be hesitant to like teach them either the language or other parts of the culture. But also sometimes it might also just be like, if they don't teach you about Filipino history, it might also just be because your parents didn't pay attention in school to the Filipino history. Cause like I always wondered why my mom and dad didn't teach me like, oh, like why didn't you teach me about this part of our history? And he was like, I'm gonna be real with you, I did not pay attention. I did not pay attention to that. So, oh, if I love your dark skin. Exactly, exactly. Not the papaya soap. Yeah, I had to be that tita. I was playing that part. But IRL, I would never. But yeah, in the meantime, we're gonna be playing a little bit of Ruby Ibarra, because like I said, she's my favorite. Real AF. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that kind of goes into this whole idea of like a lot of fil-ams grow up not knowing about the history, but they at least grow up like hearing the language sometimes and eating the food. And then this last part, hearing cuento. Cuento is like stories from my parents. So my dad would tell me about like growing up in the barrio, like growing up in like essentially the streets. Like his family was super poor. Meanwhile, my mom's family was like a little bit more well to do, but it's very interesting because he grew up poor and my mom's family grew up not liking poor people. Like my grandma would straight up say like my grandma wouldn't let my mom play outside because she was like, I don't want you playing with those like dirty, like poor people. And it's wild. Like it's like wild to think that like, dang, you ended up having kids. Like having kids with one of them. So, that's me. Like, they made me play the British colonizers during the plays in India. No, Dia. Same. Whenever I have to play the Tita, that's how I feel too. Yeah, it's real. It's real. But my argument here is that like you do learn some aspects, but there is this like want for more. There's this want for learning more, and that's where we get to this part where a lot of fil-ams, including me, but this isn't like everybody, right? A lot of fil-ams, a lot of them, especially the ones that I met, say that they learn a lot during college, especially if they end up joining a college org. I call them orgs or collegiate organizations, but it's essentially a club. It's essentially like a club where like you get to meet other Filipinos. And depending on the org, I think most fil-am orgs also let in people that aren't Filipino. It's just like, yeah, if you're down for the culture, why not? Why we gotta think of blood quantums, right? Another topic though that I don't have time to go into is like mixed race Filipinos, because they also have their fair share of, like just things to think about and things that they go through. Both my parents are Filipino, so but in my club I do encounter a lot of people that are mixed race, and sometimes they're quote unquote like not passing, like they look like more white, or they look more black, or they look more Korean, right? And that affects their fil-am experience as well. Sometimes positively, sometimes negatively, but yeah, like these college orgs, they're really nice. Like I just like how I'm a supporter of what's it called, community college. I'm also a supporter of like Filipino American like organizations. They're not all perfect, they all have their share of drama and stuff like that because they're college students. Like they're also balancing a lot of these things with class or work or family obligations, so it's not perfect, but it's definitely like it was a really fun experience to like be part of a club like this. That's really cool. I ended up yeah, the Asian Am Studies minor. I love that. That's why whenever Matthew has to like BRB, he has to go like away from his desk and someone mentions Orientalism, he is summoned. We summon him with mentions of Orientalism. But yeah, so the screenshots that I have here, by the way, are about an event. They're from an event that I've mentioned before on stream. It's called Friendship Games, and it's one of my favorite events. Typically, a lot of schools focus on friendship games in the fall and then PCN in the spring, and I'll explain what all that lingo means. Yeah, there we go, Orientalism. But yeah, depending on the org, so the members can learn a lot about Filipino language, history, music, and the focus for today, which is folk dance. So but yeah, just to very briefly talk about like friendship games, this is a nice little event in the fall, usually during October, during Filipino American History Month. It might have already passed this year. I actually did not didn't check, but I showed some videos in an earlier stream where basically like these clubs, they meet up all in one school. I think it's CSU Fullerton. It's always been CSU Fullerton, and they essentially in groups, they kind of like go up to each other and they chant at each other. But usually these chants, like CHANT, these chants are usually like revolving around a theme, and sometimes the membership dresses up according to that theme. So for example, like a school might pick SpongeBob, right? And their chants are going to be related to like SpongeBob. So, stuff like that. But it's really fun. It's really fun because like everyone is kind of like moving in unison, speaking in unison, and it actually is reflective of like some things that you would see in I'm getting a little bit off topic, but basically like in certain Filipino communities, even especially like back in like the pre-colonial days, that was like an alternative way of doing warfare. Instead of going to war, you guys would just go up to each other and like chant at each other, and it's supposed to be like intimidating, but it's also more of like a fun thing to do. Makes me wish I was a West Coast Filipino. Yeah, I do wonder if like East Coast has like equivalents to this, right? We hate fun on the East Coast. The other thing is that like you will get sunburned here. You will get sunburned. You got to make sure that you bring a lot of water. My dumbass is learning. Invisible AF. Ah, dang. Because I used to be part of an org, like a social political Filipino organization, and I went to a conference in Seattle once, and they had delegations from my part of the world, so like Los Osos, California, but we also had people from like North California, but we also had people from like Portland, Seattle, and we had people from Chicago and New York as well. And I remember the thing that I noticed most out of the West Coasters and the Chicagoan fil-ams is that they were so stylish, and they know how to properly layer their clothing. Actually, the same with like the Seattle and Portland ones too. And I think it was like no shade on us Californians, but like our layering was not that stylish. You could tell that we are not used to layering our clothing. You could tell that like, we're used to like warmer weather, so when it comes to like going to Seattle where it's like snowing and stuff, we're like I don't know, I'm just gonna pack on like 5 jackets and hope it looks good, and it didn't look good. Hello Shadnord, hello. No worries, this is like an early start time for me, so no worries at all. But yeah, so depending on like the Filipino org, how's it going? Yeah, I'm doing an educational stream as a part of a Filipino American raid train. So I'm the penultimate stop. We're gonna be raiding into someone at 10 o'clock my time, which means I'm running out of time. We have like 20 minutes and an hour. But we're talking about Filipino performances, basically. Filipino American performances. So a lot of fil-ams, they learn a lot about their culture in the college years. Not everyone, but a lot of them do. And one of the biggest ways that they learn about it is through the topic for today. We're finally here. 40 minutes in, and we're finally on like the main topic, which is Filipino Cultural Night. Da, 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 da. So this is PCN. From here on out, I'm probably just going to be referring to it as PCN. But it's also known by other names, so like PACN, Filipino American Cultural Night. Someone mentioned PCC, and I think PCE, like Filipino Cultural Experience. So it does go by different names. I think UCLA specifically calls theirs SPCN, which is a reference to their org, which is Samahang Filipino. So it's Samahang Filipino Cultural Club. By the way, if you're wondering why sometimes Filipino is spelled with a P and sometimes it's an F, it's because in Filipino language, in Tagalog and other Filipino languages, F and P are interchangeable. So like when you see Filipino Cultural Night, it's actually supposed to be pronounced Filipino Cultural Night. But yeah, that's kind of just how it is. The two like letters are kind of interchangeable. So when like colonization happened and like other words and letters were introduced, we used like what we already had. So for example, like V and B are usually interchangeable. It's rarer, but sometimes you also see D and R are interchangeable. But that's a little bit rarer. But F and P are kind of the main ones. So sometimes you'll see Filipino, sometimes you'll see Filipino. But it's the same thing. It's the same thing. The country also got named by some dude named Philip. Yeah, that's another big thing, is that prior to colonization, the islands weren't like a unified, nation. It was like a collection of different groups that all lived on the archipelago. So they didn't have like a unified name, because they would just refer to their own like region. So like people from Cebu, they would just self-identify as like, yeah, we're Cebuano. And if you're if you're from Manila, you would be like a Manileño, and it wasn't until Spain colonized the Philippines that they became known as Filipinos, because it was named after their king, King Philip. So yeah. Okay, so PCN, this is a stage production. These are often organized by the same orgs that I was talking about, these college orgs, and they feature different folk dances that are inspired by different regions in the Philippines. So, as I was saying, like the Philippines used to be a bunch of different regions and territories, and arguably they still are. Like the culture and even the language in like the capital, which is Manila, is gonna be vastly different from like if you go down south where there's more Muslim people, right? Or if you go like up in the mountains where there's people that are Christian but they still hold on to a little bit more of their culture, their pre-colonial culture. So yeah, we have different types. I'm gonna go into like the different types of dances as well. But another thing that kind of also puts PCN apart from other people that perform these dances, because these dances aren't just performed by fil-ams. They're also performed by Filipinos in the Philippines. They're also performed by dance troupes. So it's not just fil-am college students. But what sets PCN, what sets the college show apart, is that oftentimes we have a play that touches on like common fil-am topics, and it kind of binds everything together. Usually there's a kind of story with certain topics, like usually it has to do with like family relationships or finding more about their culture. So just as an example, let me try and remember like a script that I've seen. Like a girl who wants to know more about her culture, so she takes a trip to the Philippines, but on the way there she sees like street performers, and that transitions into one of the first dances, that kind of thing. So yeah, you guys are dancing. You guys like the dancing? Yeah, we'll be looking at videos of some of these dances too. So yeah, it's both dancing plus a script. And I'll go into some of the themes and types as well. But yeah, these are what was, oh, roll call. Okay. I was like, what song is this? It's an interlude. So if you guys want to look at some of the cool pictures here, we have one of our more well-known dances is a dance called tinikling, which has like these sticks, and the dancers have to like dance in between the sticks before they get clapped by the ankles. And these guys in particular have blindfolds on. That's not like always a thing. But it's just kind of like one of those gimmicks that like a lot of tinikling dances will usually have like a gimmick to kind of like up the challenge. It's like the it's like the nuzlocke. It's like the nuzlocke of dances. It's like okay, we have this dance down. Let's make it harder. Let's put like blindfolds on. So, oh my god, I love Ruby Ibarra's music. Flexing on the fellow fil-ams. Exactly. I talked about it before, but like I used to watch a whole bunch of PCNs from like 2017 to 2018, and like every school had their gimmick, and it was so cool to see the Dark Souls of dancing. Yeah, it's essentially the Dark Souls of dancing. Because it's like, oh, you already have the risk of getting your ankles clapped by these bamboo poles, right? Make it harder. Make it into a helicopter, which is something that they've done. I think I might be able to show you in like one of the videos we'll be looking at. This one over here is a scene from the script, from one of like the scripted portions. So like there's usually like a family that is having dinner together. But the thing is, because it's on a stage and because you have to clear the stage for the dances, but also for like the next scene, usually there's like a huge stage crew that is from the club. It's not provided by the school, it's provided by the club themselves to be ready to grab these chairs and grab these tables and grab all these props. And it's funny because like even if you're not in the stage crew, you just happen to be in the next scene, you usually have to help them out. So I remember like as soon as the light blacks out, you gotta run and like help them like grab a chair and put it away before like the scene like starts again. And one little thing is that like schools kind of do this differently. Sometimes a school will give enough time to their stage crew to take everything off of the stage. And then they'll wait for the stage crew to be like, okay, we're good. But other schools, like some of the ones that I went to, Jesus, like you had a time limit. You had 5 seconds. Everything had to be off in 5 seconds or lights were going to be on. And if you're still on there, you have to play it off. And I've seen people do such a good job at doing this, where like it'll be like a scene like this, and like instead of taking away the chairs, you have to like put the chairs. And someone like, you know, there was like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lights on. And one of the stage crew was in the background, but what they did is they just happened to be holding a broom, and they're like, "Oh, housekeeping, housekeeping," and then they like walked off stage like as they were saying that. And it's like, dang, that's thinking on your feet. That's great. So yeah, like you got to be flexible. You got to be flexible. um so yeah, that's a little bit of an overview of PCN. I'm gonna give a little bit more details, but I also wanted to show this video that I think I showed it like earlier last week too, but it talks about a little bit of like it's also another intro to Filipino cultural night. So let me actually stop the music, and then let's watch this video. It's a pretty cool one by a channel called One Down. I think they were or they are based in UCLA, so this is UCLA campus. Ah, it's loud. So true. Oh, I love these pictures. I know that guy. The guy that was teaching. he's like he's like a big name in Filipino like dance in SoCal. I think I said this before too when we first watched this video, but you could tell that this video is a little older because she says for Filipino millennials. Because I think this was like 2016, but now it would be like Filipino Gen Zs who are now college age. I'm old, but yeah, that was like a little bit of the history too of like PCN and where that came from. Our time is really fast. I know it was only 5 years ago. No, wait, it wasn't. My sense of time is screwed up because of the pandemic. Why did I say 5 years ago? 2016 was not 5 years ago. Oh my god. Hello, Dev Chase. Hello. Welcome, welcome. I'm doing a presentation on Filipino dance, Filipino stage plays. And thanks for dropping by. Old shit. We're old. Okay. So there's I felt that honestly time got effed up. I'm living in 3 different decades simultaneously. It's true. It's true. If it was meant for Zennials, it would have Subway Surfer split screen at the bottom. Hello, Vitehide. Hello, welcome, welcome. Gosh, I love learning about the food and dance all around the world. Oh yay! This is just the stream for you then, because we're actually gonna look at a couple of videos too. But so there's different types of folk dances because like I said, these are all kind of based off different regions from around the Philippines. So there's 5 kind of like of the big what's called suites. But there are more. So yeah, commonly these are categorized in different suites based on like a different geographical region or culture. So it's just that sometimes depending on the school, they're known by different names. So one school might call one of the suites barrio, but another might call it rural. Oh, and no, we have an ad break starting soon. So let me snooze that for now, and we'll come back to it. Guess we old 2016 long time ago. I know. I know. Okay, so but yeah, so one of the suites is called barrio or rural. Actually, I have like other slides. Yeah, okay, I have recycled slides, so I might just like go more into detail after. But there's barrio, rural, which is a little bit more of like these types of dances, which are like more about farming and like they have like a happy mood to them. There's Maria Clara in Spanish. I've heard more schools refer to it as Maria Clara, which I'll go over why it's called that. But some also call it Spanish because these are like the Spanish inspired dances. Then there's also the Cordillera, also known as mountain or Ifugao dances, which are a little bit more, I guess a lot of people would describe them as like tribal. But they're also based off a culture that is still very much alive, right? And is like more like a community. And then you also have lumad, which is also known as traditional or regional, which these terms are a little too general for me. I like not to throw any shade, but I never liked it when some schools refer to it as like this is traditional and this is regional suite. It's like which tradition, which region? Like this is the actual like I guess like the dances are mostly based off like a culture called lumad. So what do you mean 2016 was totally 6 years ago? It totally is. And then at the south part of the Philippines, which is called Mindanao, there's a big Muslim population. So there's also dances based off of that. So I'll be showing examples of all of these regions as well. But one big thing to go into is the fact that these dances are usually, well, not usually, sometimes they're performed with live music. So I'm actually going to pause this right now. From either a rondalia, which is like a string ensemble, or a kulintang ensemble, which is gongs that are like more from like the Muslim part of the world. I'll show videos of this as well. But another thing is that like depending on the school, they might also have additional suites, which include choir. Some schools like UCLA, for example, their PCNs are musicals. Their PCNs are always musicals. You're not gonna see that so much with the other schools, but other schools might also have like swing and ballroom dance. One school had eskrima, which is kind of the stick fighting. A lot of them have what's called modern, which is usually like hip hop, but it could be any kind of modern dance from like jazz, the actual like discipline called modern. And then, like I said before, there's also usually a stage crew, and this comes from the membership, from the club membership, rather than from like the school, right? So, there are some people who like they don't really want to be on stage, they don't want to do the dances, but they still want to be part of the experience, so they do the stage crew. And there's people who do both, like they're both like in the stage crew and they're both like a dancer or a background character or like an actor. So and then there's way more, like I said, this is just going off of my experience, but there's so many others out there. So the next five slides are going to be a little bit different in style because they're actually lifted from when I did this earlier, when I did an earlier version of this stream like a couple months ago, when I talked about just like Filipino folk dance in general. Actually, before I do that, where is it? I might have to go back to my notes on this one. Here we go. So like I said, usually these dances are accompanied by live music, and this is what that might look like. Ah, okay. So this is what's called a rondalia ensemble. They're like a stringed instrument ensemble, and they would more so do the accompaniment for like the more Spanish inspired dances, as well as the more rural and like barrio dances. So here's like a sample of that. That's beautiful. Yeah, it is. They all have different stringed instruments. I don't know the exact names of the instruments, but they're all different. What is this called again? I see 7 of them. So this is, oh, it's called a rondalia. I'll put it in the chat. Bam, 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 dun, 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 dun. By the way, this song that they're performing, I think someone did like a Vocaloid, like Cariñosa, Miku. This one, Ang Cariñosa by Steam Pianist. So it's actually based off that song. So, oh, it's Gumi. It's Gumi. Yeah. Oh, that's a little loud for me, so I'm gonna put that down. But yeah, that's what they were actually performing. It's actually based off Cariñosa, which is like a dance. Oh no, the ad break's gonna start soon. Okay, I'm gonna show you one more thing. No, you know what? One more snooze. So that was the Rondalia. Miku Rondalia. Of course it's sung by Miku. No, I was wrong. It's Gumi. I was wrong. One more thing. Yeah, and then we'll go into the ad break. So this is a kulintang ensemble, which like they more traditionally play like these gongs and like this drum. I forgot what they were called. These are the kulintang itself is the gongs, but there's also this which is an agung. And they do accompaniment for the Muslim dances, but sometimes depending on the group, they might also do accompaniment for the mountain and the Luma dances. But here's a little sample of that. The drip is immaculate. Yes, 100%. Let me put it up a little. And this is called the Kulintang Ensemble. I love it. I don't know, the gong sound is always so magical. It's always so like it gives me chills. So I wish I could show more, but you know what? Let me see if I can just push out the ad break so that it doesn't bug us for the rest of the stream. How about this? I'll play the ads, and if you are subscribed, we'll listen to more of the music right now. So that'll be a nice little thing that you guys can listen to. Yeah, if you guys are in ads, go ahead and get some water, stretch. Wait, I think I accidentally pressed snooze again. Let me see if I can push out the ad. Oh, here we go. Okay. I'm gonna start the ad now, so I'll see you guys in about a minute. All right, you guys back? Yeah, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I hope those that were subbed were enjoying the music. But because oh no, we have 55 minutes left. I think that should be enough time. That should be enough time for us to get through everything. Dance, yeah, you guys can dance too. Okay, I'm gonna keep the music off because we're gonna be looking at some videos. I keep forgetting to. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Presenter view so I can have the links ready. Okay, so the first type of dance, the first like suite is called barrio, but it can also be known as rural. So these are dances from like the Christian regions of the places that were more like affected by colonization. So they more readily like became Christian, with some things that came that held over from like pre-colonial times. But for the most part, like a lot of these are more like Christian regions. So this is in Luzon, which is like the northernmost island, and the Visayas, which is like a collection of islands in the middle. And usually they showcase rural Filipino life. So this includes like farm work, harvesting, fishing, and usually I put here festivity, but it's because like the tone for a lot of these dances is like joy, even though it's like hard work. You know, like farming is hard work and like harvesting is hard work. Usually these are like dances that are very like joyful, and like it's almost like you have to have the vibe of like a party. So the dress that I'm wearing right now, my outfit right now, is actually based off one of my favorite dances, which is called Pandango sa Ilaw. So actually, maybe we can start with that one. I got like a bunch of I got a bunch of dance videos from YouTube that hopefully showcase you know, some of these dances, but just know that not all of them are from PCN. Some of them are from like showcases from dance troops, or they're from like the Philippines. So let's look at the dance that my dress is based off of. It's a little loud. Okay, sorry. Before we like start with like watching this video. So, like I said, these dances are usually like very joyful. And I'll also try to explain like the context for each of them. The one for this one, Pandango sa Ilaw, the name translates directly to the fandango, like a style of dance. Sa Ilaw means like of the lights. So the whole thing is that the dancers are holding these candles, and usually in these stage productions they're not like real candles. they're like fake candles. When I danced it, I held a fake candle, but usually it's to show like the dancer's skill with like balancing, because you usually have to hold 3 candles. So 2 of them are going to be in your hands, in my case in my paws, and you're not just going to be holding them like with your palms. You're going to be holding them the way that look at my model right now. You see how your my fingers are up. So like my pinky and my index fingers are up, and then my middle finger, ring finger, and thumb are down. You have to hold the cups in between your pinky and your index fingers. So that's the first 2 cups. The third cup is balanced on your head. So, and there's no trick to it. Like, we didn't put magnets in our heads, or like we didn't put no Velcro or anything to keep it on there. It's literally just balance. And if any of you are like, you know, saying like, nah, there's no way, like, oh no, Gino wants to leave. Okay, give me a second. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, it's balancing on my tuft. I'm balancing that candle on my tuft. Um, but yeah, like the reason why like it can't just be stuck on our heads, like we can't just like glue it there or anything, is because eventually we have to take it off of our heads to like give it to our partner. So one of my friends that was in Bollywood style dance had this pen pal in the area, and when they studied Bollywood, she introduced me to similar stuff to the candle thing. Nice! Yo, that's awesome. I would love to check out more like Bollywood and or like kind of South Asian dancing. That sounds so cool. In Mexico, there's a dance where female dancers will dance with glasses of water on their heads. That's so cool. I wonder if there's like a relation between the two. Like maybe one culture influenced the other, or if that's just like that's just something that like we both developed individually, right? So, but yeah, so this one has the lights, and then yeah, let's check it out. Let's check out a little bit of it. Maybe if I can make the quality a little bit better. All right, that's as good as it gets. But you can still see the lights. It's because it's dark. I think that's why the quality's a little iffy. But it is supposed to kind of mimic fireflies on a beach. Like one of the origins of this dance is like fishermen would like go out to fish, but then they would return shortly before the sun sets. But they would also be using the fireflies to kind of guide them back. But if there weren't fireflies, then the locals would just get like candles and like just so that the fishermen know where the shore is. Professional troops have actual glasses with water, and sometimes you will hear glasses crashing. Mm-hmm. It's true. I'll tell you what the hack was for our group. Would be neat if Americans balance a gun or three as you dance. Oh my god. This happened in pro wrestling. What the? But yeah, you could see like their graceful movements, right? Oh, here we go. They're balancing it on their heads. Their movements are so graceful. And then in the back, you can also see like the musicians, and they're also singing. That's another thing, is that they're also singing. I could bounce a plate of chicken fried chicken on my head if I had to. Well, there you go. It's possible. It's possible. Yeah, so you see the way that the ladies are holding their candles? It's not with the palms, you have to use your fingies. Ding, 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 ding. You know what? This choreography is very similar to what I ended up performing. I think the choreographers looked at this video. Because I remember having to do that move. I had to like walk around my partner with the 3 cups. And they're putting the candles in the handkerchief. The fingers provide more structure and support than just the palm. Yeah, exactly. And you can hold it for longer, because like if you hold it with your palms, you can hold it, but it's gonna get strained. So that's why like doing with the fingers lets you just like do it for a little bit longer. Look at the guys! Look at the guys! They're balancing it! They're balancing it! Wow, the singing is so nice. Oh, we didn't have this part in our dance. They have like pretty lights. So what we did in our club, but also like during rehearsal when we were still learning the dance, we actually did use so some clubs will use plastic cups so that if it falls, like nothing really happens, right? But the thing with plastic cups is that they're lighter and you kind of need the weight of the glass so that like gravity will help you to keep it on your head. So we actually used real glass when we were rehearsing, but we wrapped them in clear duct tape. I don't know if it's duct tape, but like we wrapped it in like the hardy like clear tape. Wow, so pretty. We wrapped it in tape so that even if it does fall and it does slightly shatter, it doesn't break apart, so that it's also not a risk to the dancers, because if the cup shatters and it's glass and people are dancing on stage barefoot, then like that's a bad time. Yeah, packing tape. There we go. We use packing tape. So yeah, like we also did that as a safety precaution so that even if it falls and shatters, it doesn't shatter all over the floor. So yeah. So that's one example of a dance from like the Barrio suite. Another one is Tinikling. This is like the big famous one. This is the one that is one of the more well-known Filipino dances, and I always show this one because like this one is just awesome. So you have these big bamboo poles, and the dancers are essentially supposed to dance like in between those poles, but these guys are also clapping the poles together. So I'll just show you. I also like that this video has like a lot of zoom ins. Tap 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 tap. There you go. So you see the bamboo like poles, they're clapping them together. So if you're not careful, your ankles are gonna get clapped. Literally. Like literally clapped. And I've seen someone whose ankle was accidentally clapped. It made their foot swell up. I've seen it before because I remember it happened like the day before the show, and I was like, "Oh my god, what are you gonna do?" And the person was like, "I'm just gonna tough it out," which isn't healthy. Like you totally shouldn't do that. But a lot of times there is a lot of pressure of like, "Oh, it's the day of show. It's the day of show. Like we can, we can't mess up." But the way they make you practice this, by the way that you learn it, obviously they're not going to be closing the bamboo when you're learning it, because that would just be torture. When you're learning it, they usually do like painter's tape. They put painter's tape on the floor, like two of them, and then you just dance in between the painter's tape. Oh my god, I like that move. I like the move they're doing where they spin it. Oh, they're gonna do helicopter, helicopter. They're gonna do helicopter. Ready, ready? Wow! Helicopter, helicopter. There you go. Yeah, so I mentioned it before. Each school kind of has their gimmick with like, or not even each school. It's like each year, like regardless of school, like has their own gimmick. Some of them will do like helicopter. Some of them will do blindfolded. There's one called like Dos Equis, which I think might be in this one, which is just two crosses. I'm hogging right now. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, when you practice it, first it's with like painter's tape, and then it's with the actual bamboo, but it's not being clapped together. It's just so that you can practice dancing in between the bamboo. And then when you feel more confident, when you feel like you can handle it, that's when people start clapping the bamboo together. And then the next level after that is doing these tricks. It's doing these tricks where like people are like clapping them, right? Oh yeah, and everyone is usually able to both dance and clap. Usually in the choreography, people switch. So these people were clapping at first, and now these guys are clapping. Dos Equis, yeah, they give. Oh my god, I'm gonna tell you right now. Some of these dancers might not be sober. No, maybe these guys are, but like there are times in these PCNs where backstage they will be drinking. But you didn't hear that from me. Para cofer. Yeah, yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But Dos Equis is just like they have two crosses. Did they do that in this one? I actually forgot. Yeah, I think this is the Dos Equis. Yeah, there we go. See? There's one cross and then another cross on the other side. And the dancers have to like rotate around it, essentially. Usually, if you're in Tinikling, I've seen a lot of people like they have to stay and practice until like 1 in the morning. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Is this the part? I'm just gonna skip because we have a limited of time. But look, I mentioned it before. I foreshadowed it. Blindfolds. You better tired legs than busted ankles. They're doing it. They're doing it. Let's go. And the music's getting faster. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? They did so good. I think this is the finale. Oh, not yet, not yet. It's so fast. It's so fast. Wow, wow. Good job. Okay, one thing I want to highlight before we move on is how little space there is in the backstage. You guys see this wall over here? It's different for all stages, of course, but like usually there is very limited space back there. And that's where all the props have to go. That's where all the chairs have to go. Sometimes that's where the instrumentalists go. It's usually very cramped back there. I wasn't in this stage, but I was like I was in another school. But our stage was also like about this big, and it was very cramped. So yeah, those are two examples of rural dances. I wish I could show more. This is my favorite suite. These are my favorite types of dances, but we gotta schmoove. We gotta schmoove. And there's so many other dances to look at. I'm glad you guys like that. Okay, so the next suite, the next group of dances is called Maria Clara, and it's named after a character from a famous book by Jose Rizal. He's one of like the biggest kind of like symbols of the Philippine Revolution. So these are dances that are based off of Spanish dances. So these are Spanish Castilian influenced dances. Usually they have to do with courtship, as well as like the mestizo, right? Like the mixed race European like elites. But yeah, usually the name of the game is like romance. Usually it's like a partner dance. I remember learning about Jose in world history. Yeah, Jose Rizal, he's like he was an author, but he was like well known for being like one of the starters of the revolution against the Spanish. Maria Clara was like a character in one of his novels who's supposed to be this like the ultimate like, you know, ideal of a Filipino woman, you know, like the Yamato Nadeshiko, but for Filipinos. And it's kind of like, you know, an outdated like, oh, women must be quiet and demure and shy and blah blah blah. But it's kind of like named after that period. So the first one that I want to show you, so remember how I showed you the Rondalia instrumentalists with the guitars and the stringed instruments? So they were performing a dance called Cariñosa. This one usually there's like other props that the dancers will use. For this one, it's usually a handkerchief and a fan. There's another one called aray, which is literally like that's the word that people used to say like ouch. Like if you're Filipino, instead of like ow, instead you'll hear them say like aray. Aray, ow. And they use a tambourine. And then there's also a whole bunch of dances called like la jota, which is it's a type of like Castilian Spanish dance, but then it was modified for different regions of the Philippines. So La Jota Manileña is like the Jota of Manila. I forgot Paragua. I want to say that's like I don't remember. But La Jota Caviteña would be like the Jota of Cavite, which is another place in the Philippines. So these are passionate dances, and they usually have like these shawls and these like castanets. So a couple of examples of that. So here's Cariñosa. What is this? Oh, this is UC Davis. Mga kapatid. So I'll only show a little bit. Oh, but another thing with a lot of these videos is you're definitely going to hear the audience a lot more. There we go. Now you can hear the music. Wow, with the fans. Paraguas means umbrella. Ah, okay. Oh, did that dance use umbrellas? Because usually it's like a geographical, like, oh, I didn't even notice. Some of these are, like some of the ones wearing what's called like a barong, which is like usually the men's wear. Some of them are femme presenting. Because usually it's like, for some clubs, it's like strictly, it has to be like a male-female pair. But recently they've been letting people just like choose whatever roles they want to dance. Yeah, the moms. It's not even the moms. It's like it is like the moms, but it's usually like other people in the club or people from external clubs being like, "That's my roommate. That's my kuya. That's my ate," which is like, you know, usually these clubs have like a mentorship program. So like your big or your mentor would be like your kuya or your ate, which means big sister or big brother in Tagalog. And then you might also have like your mentee or the person you're like mentoring is your ading or your manghud, which is like your younger sibling. So it'd be like, hello, Jiro. Hello. We're looking at Filipino dance videos. Hello. That's my homie. Yeah, exactly. Like the people that you hear, it's not even gonna be like moms like yelling to their kids. It's gonna be like, that's my auding. That's my that's my kuya. That's my ate. That's my roommate. Like, that's my coworker. Yeah, this one has like handkerchiefs. It's supposed to be like a playful hide and seek. It's like a very coy, romancing, And then they have the pretty dresses. The guys are usually wearing what's called like a barong Tagalog, which is like a very like breathable, like formal wear. That's my bear teacher. That's my art history teacher. She's dancing. She's dancing. She's dancing. And then this next one is La Jota Caviteña. Wow. And this is from it's a dance troupe called Malaya. So these are adults already. These aren't college students. These are like adult dance troupes. Which I kind of want to join a dance troupe. See, they got the bamboo castanets. They got the bamboo castanets. Wow, they move so smoothly. Fun fact, I've danced almost every single suite. I've danced like every suite, including like the ones we're gonna go over, except for Maria Clara, just because like I didn't really like the idea of dancing with a partner. I don't know. I do like physical touch and affection, but like I don't know. I was like, I don't know if I wanna dance with someone that's not beans, But what's funny is that I've never danced a Maria Clara dance, but I have taught a Maria Clara dance. I taught cariñosa before, but it was to kids. The thing is, like, it was to little kids, so. Yeah, we won't watch the whole thing. You guys should. I'm gonna link you guys to like my presentation so you can see all the links that I used. But I'm just so like, oh, we gotta finish. But it's just so that you guys get like an impression of what each suite is all about. So yeah, very Spanish, impressive. Yeah. So those are the Maria Clara dances. Up next is Lumad. I guess I changed the order for this one, but so Lumad, these in the southernmost island of the Philippines, this island is called Mindanao, and it's home to there's different groups called Lumad, which are sometimes they're Christian and sometimes they kind of are practicing their own religion from like before colonization. And sometimes it's like a mixture of the two. So this group is like collectively known as Lumad, but they have their own individual names too, like Tiboli, Bagobo, Tagbanwa. But collectively they're usually known as Lumad. But that also separates them from the other population on Mindanao, which is typically Muslim. So there's Lumad and there's Muslim, and they both kind of have their own suites. These dances are usually both the Mindanao, the Muslim ones, and the Lumad dances, typically they're a little bit more theatrical. This is where we start getting dances that are inspired by the cultures, but sometimes not directly from the cultures. Like you'll have someone from Manila that goes over to these cultures and watches the dances, and then they kind of like modify and choreograph it from there. And I'm gonna talk about why that's a little bit of an issue later on, but for now, like that's why some of the dances become a little bit more theatrical. Sometimes they have like a storyline. And I'll show you one right now. It's called Tagabili or Tagabili. Everyone pronounces it as like Tagabili, but that sounds like rockabilly to me. So I think the actual pronunciation is something like Tagabili. But this one has a storyline of like, I think two princes are fighting each other, and one of them kills the other, but that starts a curse, which is symbolized by this person in all black. And the curse just starts like killing people all over their village. So We're not able to watch the whole thing, but I will show you a little bit. So you have like the village folks. She's the curse. And this one is definitely like a little bit more theatrical. And then you have like the two princes with their retinues, their parties, you know. I forgot if the two princes are supposed to be brothers. But I just know that it's like two princes and they have like a conflict with each other. Oh, I think it's because one prince has like has a wife, or like has like 3 wives, or like favorite wives, and the other prince, like, you know, tries to put the moves on her. Oh, they're fighting over him. They're fighting over him. He's like trying to woo them. Oh, it's getting catty. It's getting... Oh no, the competition. Oh, here we go. Like, it's the other prince. Uh-oh. What's gonna happen? Oh. Oh no, not the... Oh no, not the princess from the other retinue. Oh my god, is he single? We're about to find out. Oh, oh, he got them. Oh no. Oh, and look who's in the background. Oh, oh no. He's dead. Whoa. Oh my god, it's so sick. They did so good on this. Holy crap. So the prince like killed the other prince, but the other... I don't know if it implies that they like came back as a zombie or something, but... And then you see the princesses dance. I am gonna fast forward a little. So like the court, they start dancing, but then... There we go. I think this is the part. Zombies? This play has everything. There we go. Oh no, she's back. The curse. Oh no. They're dead. Patay. Hide the zombies from Vesper Noir. 30-minute warning? Thank you, thank you. I think we will have time for... I think we'll have time for the last couple... Oh, I think that yell was like the prince finding his like wives dead or something. Yeah, thank you, Matthew. Thank you for the 30-minute warning. Oh! Sorry, give me a second. No, all good. Accidentally pulled on a wire and it dislodged like some glass that was on the the table. Bear down, bear down. No, it's all good. It's all good. The curse struck me too. Oh no. Whoa. Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for checking on me. Mazel tov. Yeah, nothing broke. It was just that we had like a glass like water bottle. And it fell, but we got carpet. Get down, Mr. President. But yeah, all good, all good. So yeah, that was one of the more theatrical takes on like Luma dance. This one, bad ending. Yeah, essentially they all died, all because of cheating and whatnot. So this is a bit more of a like traditional take. I think this is from the same show actually. But this is more like of a straightforward kind of like traditional dance from the Lumad communities. Unfortunately, I do have to like fast forward through them a little bit, but yeah, here the guys are using I believe this is palaspas, which is like it's from palm trees. It's like the palm fronds but like dried up. The only thing is that you could see that they end up on the floor. Like they're really cool. They're really cool to like look at, but the stage crew I think does have to clean them up after. But you can see that it kind of uses similar instrumentals, right? Like the gongs, the drums. And these dances are more so like they're based off like rituals for harvest or rituals for warfare, because like a lot of the moves kind of imitate like warfare, like holding a shield and like a sword and a weapon. I think a lot of people also have fun with like the with kind of like the more warfare type dances, because it's also a chance to practice like battle choreography. Yeah, you know what? This is the same show because this person with the green hair was in the other video too. They're not in sync. They don't always have to be. They don't always have to be. I've seen shows that where like they're super in sync, and like the school that I came from, they like drilled that into your head that you have to be like pretty much in sync. But I feel like especially for the more like war time ones, it's okay if they're not in sync. Cause also oftentimes, it depends on the school. Sometimes, if you want to do multiple dances, you can only do the dances within your suite. But there are also ones where like if you want to do multiple dances, you could do it in other suites. So you could do one in or it's actually recommended that you do it in different suites because it makes the costume changes a lot more bearable. My instructor would flip. Yeah, the thing is we're gonna get into this later too, but a lot of these are based off of rituals that like they were modified for the stage. So those rituals, they're not really worrying about like, you know, we have to be in sync, we have to like have the accurate choreography. That's more later when you get into like these becoming translated to the stage. But yeah, I totally get it though. I totally get it that like especially for the stage production, like people are like, oh, it has to be like in sync, right? Like this one seems a little bit more choreographed where like you have to try and be in sync. Like I feel like for some of even the rural ones don't always have to be in sync. I guess it depends because it's supposed to be more of like a party atmosphere. And I think it depends on your philosophy with the dance, right? Of like, do you see it as a stage production or do you see it as like a recreation of like the rituals that these dances used to represent? Because in many ways they're a mix of both. They're a mix of both because like we can't argue, we are not argue, but we can't say that like, oh, it has to just be like the ritual, because these rituals would take days. Like they would legit take like hours, right? Like you can't just be like, all right, audience, you're gonna be sitting here for 7 hours as we do this ritual to the gods. And it's like that is neither the time nor the place, right? So it makes sense that it does have to be modified. It depends. Yeah, exactly. It depends on the vibes. There's like some other theatrical ones, like the Muslim ones that like that one. It looks a lot better when it is in sync. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So we're gonna go up north this time. We're gonna be going to You know what? Actually, let's go to the Muslim ones, and then I'm gonna go back to the mountain ones because I feel it makes a little bit more sense geographically because the Muslim dances are on the same island as the Lumad ones that you saw, so you might even be hearing a lot of the same instrumentals. So the gongs, the kulintang gongs, and the drum. But these ones definitely like are more theatrical. These are the ones that the original dances themselves. Well, actually, I'm getting a little bit of ahead of myself. So the Mindanao dances, also known as Muslim dances. So these are also from the island of Mindanao, but these are specifically from the Muslim communities. So these are from like the Maranao and Maguindanao, Tausug. And a lot of these are sometimes derived not from rituals, but from epics. So like epic tales. Sometimes these are oral histories. Oh my god, why am I forgetting the name? The Darangen. Oh, it even says it right here. So like there's epic poetry. There's one called the Darangen, which these, like it says here, heavily stylized, heavily changed to become ensemble dances. So there's Singkil, Sarimanok, and Vinta. I'm gonna be showing you guys Sarimanok shortly. But there's also a couple others like Sagayan, which is for like it's a warrior dance, and Kapagapir, which is like more so for like female or femme presenting dancers that have fans, or they have scarves that kind of imitate like the waves of the ocean. So I'm gonna show you Sari Manok. This one is wrong one. There we go. This one, I really like this one because it tells like a whole story. The Sari Manok is a bird from I want to say Maranao culture. And look, they do this whole thing with the fans. This is where you want things to be in sync. This is where you want to make sure that the dancers have practiced to the point where they're like completely in sync. And the story of this one is like a hunter is looking for the famed Sarimanok with his two knights. And sometimes the fan ladies are like her wings, and sometimes they're just her entourage. And the Sarimanok is magical, so she's like trying to charm him or like hypnotize him essentially. So as you can see, there's like a story here. It's not just like a random ritual. So these are derived from these like epic poetries. There's a funny one. You see these guys over here? That's not just stage crew. They're actually part of the dance, and they're referred to as like rockfish, but I don't know if that's actually what they are. But essentially, like the Sarimanok brings them to life, and they fight this guy and his knights. Din, 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 din. So it's almost like a boss fight. You have to fight her mini bosses before you fight her. Oh my god, I love the instrumentals. I don't know if you guys can hear the gongs. In the Muslim dances, that's where you hear more of the gongs, the kulintang gongs. I like that. I like where they just like flick their wrists and suddenly he takes damage. Her seven evil rockfish. I like that it's not like straight up battles, but it's almost like this like magic battle where like they'll do something like flick their wrist and suddenly like the guy in the center takes damage. Man, if no one's made an RPG Maker game of this, they should. Mario RPG Combat. Oh, he cast testicular torsion. No way, no way, did you see what that guy did? He did like a straight up fish move. Oh, and the knights are trying to help their prince. No, he's dead. So I think the story goes is now there's a second prince that has come to avenge his like brother to try and capture the Sarimanok, and then this is where the whole ensemble comes out. You have the fan ladies, the fan women, and then you have the sticks are back out, except these sticks are thicker. Because usually these sticks, actually I think these are just Tinikling sticks, but there's other ones where the dancers are going to have to actually balance on the sticks. I think that's more for Vinta, because Vinta is based off of like a story where it's like a prince and princesses on a boat. These sticks are sharp. Yeah, like if this group is anything like the group that the groups that I've been a part of, the rehearsal times, like, they go hard. Like they practice like precision, and kind of like what Jiro was saying before is like all moving in sync. I remember my first year, we actually went to like a dance studio with the mirrors, and we had to like train while watching each other to make sure that we were all in sync, that we were all doing our hand flicks on time, that we were all doing, you know, like our arm placements were all at the same. We even had like a little song where it was like our hands had to go from like our waist to above our head, and the dance would go like, you know, waist, boobies, shoulders, head, flick. Oh, Pexcool, I thought you said sharp as in like they're sharp in movement. There's razor blades. There's razor blades. You guys ready? Dun, 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 dun. So the whole like, well, not the whole ensemble, but it's called an ensemble dance because there's just so many people on stage. And then I'm going to fast forward to when it's just a 1v1. They're just fighting each other. But they're fighting while going through the sticks. So like I said, the practices for these, they go hard. People would be up until like 1, 2 in the morning to make sure that they're in sync, that they're not getting their feet clapped. Because this person right here, she also got to be doing the fans as she's going in between the sticks. He has to be doing stuff with his sword and his shield. It's it's like a master class in multitasking. The beat is the same as Mission Impossible. If you get clamped, you lose the foot. No, truly the Dark Souls of folk dance. For real. Alright, can we fast forward to the end? Because I know that we're only 10 minutes away, and I still want to get through one more suite. She's captured. They captured the mythical bird. Okay. Last suite. And that is Cordillera. So this is all the way in the north of the Philippines. This is in the mountains where the communities there, they were able to kind of hold on to a lot of their pre-colonial culture, but a lot of them are nowadays Christian as well. But they still wear a lot of the clothing, or they might be wearing a lot of the clothing from pre-colonial times. So this is known as Cordillera, but also known as Mountain or Ifugao. Hello, beeplebees. Hello. This is kind of the tail end of the stream because we have to raid out because we're part of a raid train, but we're watching some Filipino dance videos. So yeah, thanks for stopping by. So yeah, like typically these dances, the men are usually wearing just oh, why am I forgetting what it's called? A loincloth. It has a specific name. That's what I'm forgetting right now. Hello with the kale. Hello, hello. And then the women are usually wearing skirts, and sometimes, like historically, they would be shirtless, topless, but they would have tattoos. But nowadays, obviously, you can't have students doing that, so sometimes they'll wear like a flesh-colored top or just like a black top. Bahag, yes, exactly. Thank you, Jiro. A bahag. So, I'll show you one dance, and then we do have to unfortunately move along. But this is a dance called Ida, and it's another one of those like war dances. And these are based off of like war rituals and like practices for the back then. These a lot of these groups would be headhunters. Like they would literally go to warfare with each other in order to take their enemy's head. So they would like also do these rituals to like hype themselves up. Nowadays, obviously, they don't go to war anymore to like take each other's heads, but sometimes they might perform these dances as like a celebration. Dun, 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 dun. And then, oh yeah, this is what I meant about like the battle choreography. This is usually a chance for a lot of them to like think of some battle choreography with their partner, right? And as you can see, the audience goes wild too. Yeah, they just put their weapons out. Let's go. Let's go. Hello, Momo. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. We're watching some Filipino dance videos. Unfortunately, we are going to be raiding out soon in like about 8 minutes or so because we're part of a raid train. But thank you, thank you. Thank you for the raid. I hope you guys enjoy this war dance as we have it. Hello, Donchi. Hello. Hello, Momo. I hope your stream went well. Hello, hello. Let's give you a shout out. Nice. Oh yeah, Baldur Gate. Let's go. Yeah, there's a battle dance, exactly. And back then, like I said, before you guys raided in, this would be used to like hype themselves up for actual warfare. But nowadays, this community still exists; they're still alive, but they would use it for like celebrations. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's an example. That's just one example. I wish I had more time where I planned my time out more carefully because there's also like courtship dances. A lot of the dances for this one they imitate the movements of like hens or roosters. There's a really cool one called banga. Maybe I could. Can I really quickly show it?
Ooh,
I just love sulfuric acid. Oh, this isn't banga, but there's one where like the ladies balance pots on their heads, and it's just really cool. It's just really cool. I would love to like share this presentation with you guys, so you guys get a chance to also check out the videos. But yeah, we do have to move on though because our time to raid out is soon. But the whole thing with a lot of these dances for these Filipino cultural nights is that they're also linked together by a script, and that's where kind of like the fil-am part of it comes in, because the script is usually based off a lot of common fil-am topics. So one is like conflict between family members, like usually the kids and the parents don't see eye to eye. I have like a bingo card here of like just tropes that you see in a lot of these scripts. So like, you know, sometimes a character goes to the Philippines because they want to learn more about their culture. The big thing is like feeling too Filipino to be American and too American to be Filipino. Yeah, time travel is sometimes one of the tropes. Like a character will travel through time. It's mostly a plot device to make sure that like they transition into the dances. So like sometimes they like to portray like especially the Spanish ones is like, oh, we're gonna go back to when Lolo and Lola, grandma and grandpa, like when they first met and they met while like courting each other with this dance, and then it like transitions into the Spanish ones. You know, so character gets slapped is a big one because there's big on drama. there's like the strict parent, lax parent dynamic of like, you know, why are you going into art? I thought you were gonna go into medicine and like nursing. Why are you doing? And then there's like a lax parent that's like, oh, you know, what's the big deal, you know? And then this is the big one that I told you guys about. If the audience is loud, it's because it's like, oh my gosh, that's my kuya, that's my big sister, that's my big brother, that's my roommate, that's my coworker. There's a breaking of the fourth wall. Comic relief character is usually a big one. Usually characters with the initials only name. So there's like a character named JP or JR or RJ or EJ or PJ. And then the audience loves to give shout outs to the stage crew, especially if they see them like moving the furniture and stuff. It's like, let's go stage crew, let's go. Let's see. Filipino mythical creatures is sometimes a trope. The extras in the scene do something funny in the background. Usually it's like last minute, it's like the day before the show, and they're like, we need some extras for this scene. We just need you to be in the background. So it's like alumni, or it's just like a random like other dancer that isn't on for the next 5 scenes, and they're like, okay, I'm just gonna be a airport person. I would join the raid, but I have to go. Work calls. Yeah, no worries. Thanks again for the raid. The Filipino friend has almost all these tropes in his family. Yeah, this is usually what you see in these these plays. So let's see. Oh yeah, another one is like whitewash character mispronounces a Filipino word. Like there's a snack called boy bawang, and there was one play I saw where it was like, would you like some boy bawang? And like it always makes the audience laugh because it's like, oh haha, they can't say their words. And there was another video I wanted to show you guys, but we're running out of time. We're running out of time, so I'll just go to this is the last slide. This is the last slide. So there are some critiques, not necessarily for PCN, but the dances. A lot of those dances that I showed you guys, they're really fun to perform, and for a lot of Filipino Americans, this is kind of their first exposure to a lot of the fact that there are different regions of the Philippines. Because as easy as that is for people that live in the Philippines, it's like, well, duh, like people from the north are obviously not going to be like people from the south. For a lot of Filipino Americans who didn't grow up like that, let me put the music back on. For a lot of Filipino Americans, that's just not they just don't grow up knowing that. So this is the first time they learn about these different regions, these different cultures, all through the dance. So that is like the biggest positive for me, is just like learning about them. However, as I kind of hinted at before, like a lot of these folk dances, they are watched by someone from like Manila, like the capital, and then the person will kind of choreograph it, simplify it, or modify it in a way that the original ritual of that dance, the original context of that dance, is lost. So for a lot of people, these dances, they're an inaccurate representation of Filipino culture. It's almost like it's like a fake version, and that like people have critiqued PCN as that, and these dances as like these are fake versions of the culture. So some would even argue that it's like a nationalistic thing, because you're going from like all these different cultures to trying and lump them into this idea of pan-Filipino, right? So the big thing is that like I said, a lot of these dances, they're based off of rituals, or in the case of the Muslim ones, they're based off of epic poetry, right? That is like hundreds of years, thousands of years old. And the dances are modified for the stage to make them seem more exotic, to make them seem a little bit more like exciting, right? Sometimes steps literally have to be modified, because there's one in the mountain dances where they usually kick the dirt, kind of like a chicken would. But if you do that on a hardwood stage, it's going to hurt your feet. So they actually adjusted that move, so now you're kicking the air. So that's just one example. But yeah, like these dances have to go from like a ritual that takes hours or days to a spectacle that only lasts like 3 to 4 minutes, or in the case of some of the longer ones, like 12 minutes. But so at worst, it exotifies some of these cultures as well, especially the mountain ones. A lot of the big concern with the mountain ones, of the boys wearing the bahags and them doing war dances, is that people assume those mountain cultures to be primitive, that they're like, oh, they're tribal, they're primitive. Where it's like, if you go to that region nowadays, they live just like me or you. Like they might not have as many resources, but they have computers. They wear t-shirts and pants. They like have a very rich culture alongside that. So at worst, it kind of like spreads misinformation about these cultures too. So oh no, it's 10 o'clock. So I'm gonna wrap up. I'm gonna wrap up now. Which is fine because we are actually at the very end. This is the end of it. So despite those critiques though, a lot of orgs and dance troupes are trying to do the work, right? They're trying to collaborate with these groups who are, like I said, they're still alive today. These groups are still active. Some of them even immigrate here to America, to Bear America. So there's groups like, for example, the Ramon Obusan dance crew. They're actually not dance crew, dance troupe. They're trying to do the work to make sure that their dances are more closer to these rituals, to these practices, and they're accurate to the culture they're trying to represent. So, you know, there is work being done, but just know that like the history of it is a little bit nuanced in that way. So yeah, Asian American assimilation moment, exactly. So fil-ams are doing the work to learn more about their culture while celebrating their history. And with that, I will say happy Filipino American History Month, everybody. Yeah, I hope this presentation was enjoyable to you guys. I hope you guys learned a little bit more about folk dances, a little bit more about the Filipino Cultural Night, a little bit more about Filipino American identity and college orgs and food. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. So that is fil-am Stage Productions and Folk Dance in a nutshell. And as much as I could fit into 2 hours. So thank you guys. Thank you, Pexco. Thank you everyone. It was pretty informative. I'm glad. Yeah, I am super down to do like a more extended version of this sometime in the future. So if anyone missed it, we can do it all over again. But yeah, thank you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and let's see if we can start the raid over. You learned a lot. I'm glad. Okay, so the person that we're raiding into is the very last stop on the KABABAYAN fil-am raid train. They are Seoul. Let me see if I can find them. Following Seoul Ryusei? Let's see, what are they going to be streaming? There we go. They're going to be doing mouthwashing. Let's go. Okay, cool. Okay, as you guys can see, we're a bit pressed for time, so we're not gonna what's it called, mosh. But I'm gonna be streaming tomorrow. My schedule is on my social media. Let's do that real quick. Social media. But I'll be streaming tomorrow. But otherwise, let's go ahead and raid. I don't have a special raid message, so you could just say bear raid or KABABAYAN raid. How about this? KABABAYAN raid. There we go. Let's do that. I'm gonna put this in the chat. There you go. KABABAYAN. So we're gonna go ahead and raid into our very last stop, and I'll see you guys over there. KABABAYAN. Oh, I should have done that. Okay, wait. I'm not rating it. KABABAYAN. Raid. I'm sorry. I'm taking so long to raid into them. There, send that. Send that. Okay? Send that. KABABAYAN. Okay? Let's raid. Alright, thank you guys. I hope you guys have a good morning, afternoon, or evening. And as always, I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Bye-bye.